Well, here we are at Croft Circuit in North Yorkshire for the final round of the Ma5da MX5 Mark3 Cup. With only 16 points between the top 3 drivers, these final 3 races really do matter. There have been just 3 men that have won races this year in the Mark3 Cup. Luke Herbert with 10 wins, Chrissy Palmer with 9 wins, and the young chaser Jordan Stilp with 5. They've all come here to Croft this weekend within reach of that championship win, but let's see who's going to crumble under the pressure. Both Palmer and Stilp have teams behind them, which can be an advantage, but we'll see what's going to help them in this year's Ma5da Championship. Paul, you've got Chrissy Palmer racing for your team. How's that for you?
Oh, it's ace. I mean, there's not many talented people around like that. I know Luke and Jordan are very, very good, but, you know, Chrissy's won the Formula Ford Festival, and, you know, if it wasn't for money and other things, you could rank him in any form of motorsport and he'd get a result.
Do you do a lot of driver coaching then?
A little bit of driver coaching. I mean, once you've got to the level of the likes of Chrissy is a driver coach in his own rights. But for anybody coming in who's just done their odds or is learning the product, yeah, I can give a lot of input into them. But, you know, once they get to the standard of getting in the top 10, they're self-learning from that stage.
Rob, you are Rob Boston of Rob Boston Racing. How long has the team been going?
Well, I started as an individual competing 4 years ago in the Ma5das in the Mark 1 Championship. After I sort of learned what I felt I needed to learn that year, you know, we got inquiries and of guys wanting to come race with us, and so that's how the team developed, really. And since then, we've gone from strength to strength. We've been very fortunate to be able to take on some very good drivers. So yeah, it's been a very good few years.
And of course, you have what you just said about the good few drivers you've got. You've got Adam Gore and Jordan Stilp. Is it an advantage to come and drive for a team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they felt so, and I encouraged it. And you know, Jordan is a very, very talented driver, very, you know, young lad. So yeah, it was great both for me and for him. You know, a good synergy really. He wanted to come with a team with experience, and I'm obviously very keen to take on drivers that have a lot of ability. And you know, we've got a lot of ability through the team. All our drivers are top drivers, which is a very nice place to be.
Keith, you are the whole team behind Luke for his racing career. You are his team boss, his mechanic, his coach, everything. How did it all start?
He came home one day, he'd been around his friend's house, and they had a mobility scooter they've been running around in the garden with, and he wanted one himself, and I couldn't find him one anywhere, so I found a Saturday morning go-kart club at Gosport, which is not too far from us, and we started going there. And I said to him, if you're any good at this, Luke, we'll do proper go-karting, outdoor go-karting. And we hadn't been there a couple of weeks when the guy that runs the track came up to him and said, your boy's too good to be here, he should be doing proper go-karting. And I haven't had a penny to my name since. We've spent it all on racing. And
are you going to continue running, Luke?
I think I've probably taken him as far as he can go now. I've taken him since he was 9 to where he's 22 now. And I think any higher level than he's going now, he's going to have to be in a team. So it'd be like when I walked my daughter down the aisle, I'll be giving him away.
Oh, do you think there's an advantage then with a big team behind you?
He was in a go-karting team once, in a karting team. The only time he's ever been in a team, and it was the worst season he ever did. And halfway through the season, we gave up the team, and he came back, and we started going well again. But it's only because I know him. I know him very well, and I know how he likes the car set up, and I can see from miles away what's wrong with him. And that's only because I've been with him since he was little.
Now let's go on board with the not-so-little one, Luke Herbert, edging himself on over the start and finishing line. We're heading towards Clervaux, the first corner, which is a right-hander, which has a sort of chicane in it, but although these Ma5das won't necessarily take it. So through Clervaux, takes the curb, then sit on that left-hand side, and you can see it's not really a chicane any longer. We're already into Hawthorns, which just continues to go round and round and round, and then into the second chicane, which really is just a right-hander at the end onto this back straight. Get any of that wrong though and you're compromised all the way down this extremely long straight, up through the gears into the braking zone at Tower Bend. A difficult place to pick a braking zone, quite bumpy as well, and a good overtake opportunity. A little bit of oversteer from Luke Herbert, runs the curb on the outside. We'll see a lot of people kicking up dust there. Now through the flat out Jim Clark S's, left and then right. Left first, skim the barrier, right. And he changes gear mid-corner as well into Barleycroft, a flat-out right kink. and that's almost a four-wheel drift. And now just changed down one gear. He's still in fifth gear as he throws it into sunny in. The second part is sunny out. Again, a little bit of oversteer. Make sure it's nice and tidy. Picks the curbs absolutely perfectly through there. Another long straight down to the final part of the lap, the complex. Flings the car left. Get it slowed down. Right-hander. Double apex, and then the big braking zone for the hairpin. The real main overtaking opportunity on this circuit. Gets a good exit and down a long back straight. So really some great overtaking opportunities, a great circuit to race on. Let's hear now though from the pole position man who was Jordan Stilp.
You have qualified pole for today, so starting the first race now. What are your thoughts on it?
Nothing really, just basically try and get away at the start, try and pull away as much as possible so that I don't have to worry about taking 2 wheels, 4 wheels off circuit, because I've had some of my times disallowed in qualifying. So it's going to be a hard race whichever way I look at it. Everyone's always close in the race. Qualifying doesn't really matter, to be honest. It's just the straight, everyone's going to keep up with everyone, so it's just a matter of luck and whoever makes the first corner.
Well, good luck in that first corner.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So coming up after the break then, the 3 races from the Mark3 Cup. Join us then.
Well, the Mark IIIs are all lining up in the assembly area, ready for their first race of the day. And I'm going to grab a quick word over here. Oh, with Chrissy. Chrissy, thoughts on your first race of the day?
Hopefully I'm going to win it.
Where did you qualify today?
Second, but we had a bit of an issue in qualifying, unfortunately. The fuel pipe decided to fall off a few times, so I had to put it back on while I was on track. So I only got about 3 laps, unfortunately, but these things happen, and I'll have to push on for the rest of the weekend.
Absolutely. Second's still pretty good, though, so good luck on your first race.
Thanks a lot.
I'm going to go and grab Luke. Luke. Hi.
Hello.
Thoughts on your first race today?
I've got to go out and win it, really. It's a championship's close, 5 points. Yesterday testing went really well. You know, we had the pace, we were the one to follow, and then qualifying we've managed to land ourselves in third. But as long as I stay ahead of Chris, I don't mind Jordan taking the win. As long as I get second and Chris gets third or hopefully lower. But you know, that's the idealistic situation for me this morning. But we'll see. You know, we've got another one this afternoon. We've got one tomorrow. So if I win both today, I can relax tonight and have a bit of enjoyment at the party. But if I don't, it's going to be an early night.
Right then, race 1 first. Jordan Stilp, Chrissy Palmer, Luke Herbert, the 3 protagonists on the front 3 positions of the grid. Gore, Paul Shear, David Chapman, a good position for him. Chris Lord and Will Chappell. There is the beautiful sight of a good collection of Mark IIIs, and we've got some MX150s on the back who will start later on as well. Down towards Clervaux for the first time, and it looks like Jordan Stilp from Palmer, from Luke Herbert, with Adam Gore in 4th position, side by side. David Chapman and Paul Shear goes. Will Chappell dips a wheel into the gravel, tries to go around the outside at Hawthorns. He should hold on to that with enough momentum. He's lost a position to Chris Lord, however, as the leaders go through the chicane for the first time and down towards Tower. On board with Chrissy Palmer in the slipstream. Tower is a good overtaking opportunity. It'll be a good way to stamp his authority on the race to try and find a way through, but Stilp was already on the defensive, on the inside line there, making sure Palmer didn't find a way through. The top 5 are together. Paul Shear, David Chapman will be working to try and allow Chrissy Palmer to win this championship. Adam Gore is there to help Jordan Stilp if he so desires. Luke Herbert, the sole protagonist in his team, as we've already learned, just his father cheering on from the sidelines. A good queue of cars heading down towards sunny in, sunny out. Chrissy Palmer getting a better run through in. And now in the slipstream as they come out and down towards the complex. This is where you can make some good overtaking opportunities. Still working to try and get these Kumho tyres up to temperature. They are track day tyres, so they do need a bit of temperature in them to work properly. And it's one of those big challenges that the normal drivers of the Mark III Championship from last year have really struggled with. Getting the temperature in the tyres and getting them to work and give them ultimate pressure, and then relying on them throughout the race. On board once again with Palmer down the start and finish straight. Lost a little bit of ground through the complex on Jordan Stilp. Luke Herbert behind him, but not close enough to make a move yet. Those four all together. Paul Sheard just about hanging on in 5th position as they fly through Hawthorns. A big slide from Luke Herbert that time through. He'll compromise his speed all the way through the chicane and then all the way down to Tower, but it looks like Stilp has the advantage and seems to be at the moment in control. We go on board with Luke Herbert, who has a better run through the chicane, but Palmer's made a mistake through the chicane that we didn't see, and Herbert's going to have to go or try and go around the outside at Tower. That's not going to work, and almost invites Adam Gore to have a go at him. No change of positions. All it's meant is Jordan Stilp's got a little bit of a gap. Luke Herbert needs to push hard. Through the S's, down to Barney Croft, flat out in 6th gear here. Just about holding on, and Luke Herbert dives down the inside of Chrissy Palmer though for Sonny in and makes the position stick and then runs a little bit wide, so Palmer tries to cut back, but that hasn't worked for him. Now they head down towards the complex again. This will be where Chrissy Palmer can make a diving move if he so desires, and with the championship at stake, perhaps that's the sort of thing you need to do. We go back on board with the 66 car, heading towards the hairpin. Herbert hangs to the left-hand side to cover the inside line. Palmer's a little bit later on the brakes and gives him a nudge and down the inside and into 2nd position again. This is not just for this race. This is not just for a win at Croft. This is for the championship as well. Further back. Oh dear, that's a big mistake from the 98 machine of Robert Way. Locking up. I think he was racing the... He looked like he was racing one of the Ma5da speed cars there. The front three are totally together. On board with Luke Herbert. Through the chicane. Perfect line. Perfect speed. He's got the momentum. He's going to have to now try and find a way past Chrissy Palmer. And Palmer knows how to defend. Herbert goes to the outside, the left-hand side. That's going to be a tricky one to pull off. And Chrissy is a little bit later on the brakes. They go side by side, a bit of rubbing, and Luke Herbert was never going to get all the way around there. Now he needs to keep the car facing forwards. In the dust, he's managed to do so, but he has lost a position to Adam Gore now, up to 3rd spot. That was a bit naughty, but really, what did Luke Herbert expect if he was going to try and go around the outside at Tower? It was just never going to happen. Now Adam Gore looks pretty promising in that 3rd position spot. Chrissy Palmer has not got the speed here in race 1. A little bit of understeer, runs wide over the curb there. And coming down to the complex where Palmer put in that move on Herbert last time through. Later on the brakes, dived up the inside, a little bit of contact. And Gore looks like he's in a position to do the same on this lap as well. Down to the hairpin. Palmer holds the inside line. Gore follows him through, but he is a little bit later on the brakes, and there was a small opportunity there, but he's had to back out of it, and now Luke Herbert's back in the mix. On board, better momentum out of the hairpin, an easy position. A little bit of gesticulation from Herbert to Adam Gore. Please help me out, we need to move forward. Big four-wheel drift through that first turn. Beautiful car control as always. These cars look fantastic on the limit. Through the chicane. Jordan Stilp is leading this race, and I think he's safe because these three are arguing, and they're arguing for the championship. Stilp is the least likely to win the championship, and therefore a win is vitally important for him to keep his hopes alive. Palmer, though, is struggling, but he needs to keep Herbert at bay. Remember, Herbert leads the championship. Further back, David Chapman under pressure from Chris Lord. Oh, Chapman's run a little bit wide there. I think Lord should easily... Oh, that's Chris Platt, sorry. I apologise. Chris Platt running a little bit wide, and Chris Lord going up the inside of him. Sonny in. Now to Sonny out. Again, a little bit of understeer from Chrissy Palmer, and Herbert is desperately trying to find a way through, but he's not going to find a way there, going around the outside of the complex. We look further back at the resumption of Chris Platt versus Chris Lord, and Platt's run wide again. Oh, has he got a problem? Has he got a puncture or something? Because that was easy pickings for Will Chappell to get past anyway. Needs to get his head down, concentrate on what he's doing, and pick that racing line. Will Chappell, one of those men that we've seen racing at the very front of the field. Oh, Chappell's run wide now, side by side in the battle there. But back on board with Luke Herbert in that fight for the second spot. Palmer bouncing over the curves. Ooh, another big rear end loose slide through Hawthorns, but Herbert mirrored him as well. Oh, and he's got a bit of damage, so there was contact we didn't see going through the hairpin. And now some battle scars. There's our leader though. Just a quick glimpse of Jordan Stilp, who's having an easy run of things. Oh, good dummy move from Luke Herbert down the inside of Tower. That's good racing. Lovely, lovely move. Didn't look like he was going to make that pass stick. And then at the last second, dived up the inside. And now we're going to go side by side through the Jim Clark S's. There's hardly room for one car, let alone two. Through the first bit, side by side, through the second bit. Herbert's going to have to take to the runoff area. Oh, a little bit of contact on the exit as well through Barney Croft. Chrissy Palmer just about settles the car. They're still side by side as they finally go single file into Sunny in and coming into Sunny out now. Adam Gore had a beautiful view of that, and that was heart in your mouth stuff. Clenchy butt cheeks in the cars, no doubt. Into the complex. These two are extremely brave competitors. Herbert quite a fair racer. Palmer not unhappy about using his front bumper as Herbert locks up, and Chris Platt gives us another spectacular view of how not to do things, running wide and getting it all sideways. And here is the battle further back for the remaining places. Nice to see the cars of Raymond Worley and Melvin Hodgson for Bora Motorsport back involved. And also the 190 car of Alan Henderson, who we're used to seeing in the Mark 1 Championship, trying to find a way through. We've got Robert Way in there as well, who we've seen Waywood on the circuit. And Henderson discovering his first experience of the Mark 3 car, very different to driving the Mark 1 that he's been very successful in this year. Back to the battle for second. This is where all the interest is, because this is about the championship. Further ahead is Jordan Stilp, but a big, big battle going on for that second spot that Adam Gore so far has just been watching. Henderson down the inside to take a position, and it's all a bit leisurely further back in the Ma5da Speed car. Now that looks to me like the car that is usually piloted by Championship Director Jonathan Blake, and I know from personal experience that's a really good car. So Henderson just getting used to it, and he's managed to find a way past Melvin Hodgson, the better of the two Bora Motorsport cars. Now back to the battle for second. Again, Herbert trying to find a way through. Looks to the outside. Oh, Chrissy Palmer gets a little bit loose. Oh, and that's going to give easy opportunity for Herbert to come through. And also Adam Gore is going to try as well. Herbert sits on the inside line. Surely no contact this time. And, oh yes, contact. Big contact. That wasn't very fair. Oh, and it's all got very, very messy as Gore gets bundled off onto the grass as well, trying to go around the outside. What about the gesticulations now? Chrissy Palmer looks pretty relaxed in the cockpit. Over the start and finishing line, he's got more speed, but surely a bit more damage. Now these two cars have really taken a battering. Thankfully, Luke Herbert sponsored by a recycling company. More contact from Chrissy Palmer. Now it's getting silly. Now it's getting a little bit out of hand. And Luke Herbert is going to be really rather red-faced under that helmet. As we said at the start of the programme, Chrissy Palmer is not afraid about using his front bumper. But when it's quite as blatant as that, and for the championship, he needs to watch out. Herbert very, very late on the brakes, having to defend from Adam Gore, who will also be slightly frustrated, no doubt. And oh, he's run wide, and Gore's going to take position. There goes Adam Gore. And he's really an innocent party in this one. He's not fighting for the championship. He'd like a good shot at a podium, because the podium really has been dominated by the three men who lead the championship. Every so often we've seen Gore and Sheard on the third step, but only really when we've had a retirement. There, though, is Jordan Stilp, who has had a quiet race, but a very well-driven one. He's benefited from the arguments further back, and it looks like Jordan Stilp is going to keep his hopes of championship alive here into the hairpin for the final time. The oil flags showing him there's all sorts of debris there from the contact from the guys behind. And just a final little sorting out. Herbert down the inside of Gore at the hairpin, and that is for third position, the final podium spot. But on the top step, it's Jordan Stilp taking victory, and that is fantastic for the next two parts in his programme, and of course race 2 and race 3 of the weekend. Stilp from Palmer from Herbert, as per usual. Gore muscled out into 4th, Sheard 5th, and Chris Lord in 6th position.
Jordan, you're super fast around there today.
Yeah, I had a brilliant lead. I had a good start. I just had to defend for the first few laps, and then I just broke away. But no, it was a tough. It was kind of still a tough win, because you have to kind of worry about, are you still keeping to the same pace as you should be in qualifying? Because you're too busy worrying about them catching you up behind, and you don't want to make a fool of yourself. But no, it was a brilliant race. I'd just like to say thank you to my team for setting the car up great this weekend, and say thank you to Mum and Dad for basically backing me here today.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Jordan.
Thank you.
Well, that's it from the first race from the Mark 3s. Join us after the break for the second.
Welcome back to a sunny Croft in North Yorkshire for race 2 of the Mark 3 Cup. Stilp, Palmer, Herbert and Gore, your top 4. The finishing positions from race 1 dictate the grid for this race 2. And the championship is still very much alive. A good start by the looks of things from Jordan Stilp, our pole position man, with Chrissy Palmer alongside him. The cars shoot down towards Clervaux for the first time, and actually Palmer is certainly alongside. Luke Herbert's going to dive up the inside. He's patched up his car from a lot of damage in race 1. Both bumpers very much assaulted by Chrissy Palmer. Amazing that Chrissy didn't get any sort of driving standards for his part in that. But maybe they were not looking, and we certainly weren't watching the TV pictures that we saw. Either way, let's make it a clean one here. Stilp still leads. Palmer goes to the racing line, the outside line through Tower. Herbert's defending from Adam Gore. He's going to get a better run through there. And then the usual protagonists, but further behind. On board with Luke Herbert through Jim Clark S's, left and right. And then into Barney Croft here. And it looks to me like Chrissy Palmer is the man who's got the best temperature in the tyres and brakes, and he's got an overlap on Jordan Stilp, but he's managed to make a move. So into the lead of the race goes Chrissy Palmer. Stilp down to 2nd position, and Luke Herbert's got the overlap as well, side by side. Can he go all the way around the outside here though? No he can't. Oh, it's a big one. He's going to hit the wall. Oh, Luke Herbert is out. What on earth went on there? A little bit too brave around the outside, and Luke Herbert has buried his car in the wall. But my gosh, look at that. They build them tough, don't they? Absolutely very little damage at all. So, Chris Platt in the 20 car, and the 19, or was that it was either the 19 car of Paul Sheard or David Chapman, I'm not quite sure. Either way, good little battle going on between those two teammates. And here is a replay of what happened with Luke Herbert. Far too much opposite lock, and as soon as he's on the grass with the wheels locked up, boom! Takes his hands off the steering wheel very, very sensibly. A little bit of damage to the wing mirrors, but other than that, the car looks pretty good. Another great reason why you should come racing in the Mark 3 Cup. You can smash into a tyre wall and still continue racing, even though he's at the back of the field. Fascinating to see how far he can get up, though. He is our championship leader, remember. Although the 3rd place did not help that championship, and it just tightened it up even further. The front 3 go through then. Chrissy Palmer leads, Jordan Stilp 2nd, Adam Gore 3rd. Remember, Gore played a vital part in the battle for 2nd position in race 1. Wow, look at that. Really softly sprung Jordan Stilp's car, bouncing around over the curbs. Here is Luke Herbert. Amazingly brave down the inside of one of the Bora Motorsport cars. As you can see, damage, I think that was probably from race 1 even. I don't think he made contact with his rear end so far. But either way, he is absolutely flying. David Chapman ahead in the 19 machine, his first year of racing. We've seen Chapman start on the front row a few times, so he's used to having these guys flying past. And Luke Herbert wastes no time getting past David Chapman whatsoever. Now, you see, if you're Chapman, you follow him for a little bit and just see how Herbert does it, and you can learn so much just in a lap of following one of these guys, especially when they come through the field. Side by side for second. Stilp's now got in the lead, and round the outside goes Adam Gore into second position. Chrissy Palmer from first to third in a lap. Palmer now goes to the outside, but Gore is just going to muscle him wide. No way you're going to go all the way around there. Go on, Adam, dump him on the grass. There we go. No way he should be allowed to go around the outside there. And Chrissy Palmer kicks up the dust. Then you've got Paul Sheard and Chris Platt fighting over what has become fourth position. Teammates run out the same Paul Sheard stable. Sheard's got the inside line, and around the outside goes Platt, who really struggled in race one, but seems to have got it really sorted in this second race. It's his first meeting. No, it's not. It's his second meeting of the year. Race at Castle Combe as well. And down towards Tower. Platt with the black roll cage, and then Paul Sheard with the usual orange one. Stilp leads Gore with Palmer right on Adam Gore's tail. Where can he find a way through now? Not through there, the flat out right kink. With a bit of braking into Sonny in, and now to Sonny out. And really not much of an overtaking opportunity there either. It is so fast, but now Chrissy Palmer tries to go around the outside of Adam Gore, like Gore did to him one lap ago. Now just needs to run a little bit wide. Adam's being very kind to Chrissy Palmer, gives him the inside line, and Palmer goes back up to second position. All he needed to do, Adam Gore there, was just let the car drift a little bit wider, and Palmer would have had no option but to get out the throttle, or risk doing exactly what happened to Luke Herbert at the start of the race. Either way, Gore being very respectful. A man that's incredibly busy on a Mazda weekend, races in the Mark 1 Championship as well as the Mark 3 Cup. Goes to the outside here. Adam's not quite found the comfort in these Mark 3 cars this year. Last year was a front runner, and I suppose you could say he's a front runner in this championship. He's certainly got the pace here at Croft, being able to fight with Chrissy Palmer, but Jordan Stilp's gone up the road again, and Jordan Stilp is keeping his championship alive here. Incredible driving. Palmer is struggling though, and has been struggling with pace all weekend, and this battle could allow Luke Herbert back into some sort of contention. Somehow he's still going after that crash at the first lap of the race. So roles reversed then. Last time through, Adam Gore was leading Chrissy Palmer through this section. As we go back on board with Luke Herbert now, trying to find a way past Will Chappell. And through Barney Croft, or was that Sonny in? No, it was... Oh, Chrissy Palmer's run wide. And Adam Gore's slide, still up the inside. No, Chrissy Palmer's got a problem. What on earth's going on there? Chrissy Palmer's parked the car at Sonny in. Oh, what's going on here? He obviously knows something's up under the engine. He's had a quick fiddle. Now he's going to jump back in the car, get the belts back on, and that is very curious. You can see that the MX150 is flying through the screen there. They're at the back of this field. But Chrissy Palmer obviously knew exactly what was going wrong with his car, as we have a quick look at Will Chappell fighting with a rather loose exhausted Christopher Lord. It looks like his exhaust is flopping about in the back of that car, and that's not really helping his speed. Now, has Chrissy Palmer got going again? I'm hearing a no. He obviously knew what was going on because he dived under the bonnet straight away, but hasn't resolved what he thought was the problem. So Chrissy Palmer could well be out of this championship if he DNFs. Yes, look, there's the car parked on the left-hand side. Chrissy Palmer is out of the championship hunt. He is out of the race here at Croft. Luke Herbert is way down the field as well, and Jordan Stilp from the back of the 3 championship protagonists is going to go into the final race of the weekend with a really healthy chance of taking victory. Through the hairpin, Jordan Stilp has no one behind him to challenge him. The question now lies, how far up can Luke Herbert get? Over the start and finishing line, Stilp goes to clock off yet another lap. No Chrissy Palmer. Adam Gore's too far back now to really trouble Jordan Stilp. He's had some fantastic results over the year, including that triple victory at Castle Combe. Not quite as successful as the other 2. We heard only 5 victories coming into the weekend, so 6 victories coming into this race, as we continue to look at Chris Lord's rather loose exhaust. He's managing to keep Will Chappell, who's not having as strong a weekend as he probably had hoped, but also as you'd tend to expect from Chappell, who has been, as we said, a good front runner, especially last year. Always in the top 6. Different livery for this year, the black and yellow machine. Been racing this Mazda in all sorts of different series. We've seen him crop up in endurance races as well as sprint races, and hasn't done a full year of this championship, but he's done quite a few. Now here comes Luke Herbert on one of the safety devices sponsored Paul Sheard cars. Now this in theory should be a little bit harder to get past because it's teammate to Chrissy Palmer, but Herbert's just got so much more power, so much more speed. He's already got past David Chapman, so that must be Paul Sheard. Sheard's on the inside line and holds the inside racing line and therefore the position. But Luke Herbert has got himself up into, once he gets past, side by side going into the S's. Just enough room to be able to do that. And that puts him into 4th position, I think. It's going to be Stilp from Gore. And then the white car of Chris Platt, who's having a great run of things, considering his the way he rather messed up his first race. Really running very well. Whoop. A little bit over-eager on the throttle for Jordan Stilp there, going out of the hairpin. Down the start and finish straight. Over the start and finishing line, the checker flag flies. Jordan Stilp is once again your victor. Wow, great stuff at Croft, and it's just building and building and building for a massive climax. Confirmation of the result then, Stilp, Gore and Platt, the top 3. Remember, no finish for Chrissy Palmer, and that is effectively put him out of the championship hunt.
Ecstatic, absolutely fantastic. Really surprised that one. Chrissy, it was a bit of a gift from Chrissy, but at the end of the day, we were in the right place at the right time. So,
did you not think you could catch Chrissy at all?
No, I saw them battling ahead of me, and I was hoping, something might come my way, but I didn't think they've got a lot more pace, to be honest with you. But no, I think it worked out all right.
Adam, a great race for you, and the 3rd podium of this weekend?
Yeah, it's going really well. What happened? So Luke went off, which was brilliant, and then Chrissy had some sort of mechanical issue. So yeah, gifted 2nd, and I thought I'll have that. Yeah, so it was good.
I just didn't get the start very well. Crunched it into 2nd gear, which made Chrissy get the upper hand on me for the first corner. So I had to go defensive, which slowed me down for the straight. And then he done me either on the straight or down the end of the straight on the bottom corner. But no, it was a hard race again. Saw him battling at the end with Adam, but problems with Luke as well. So it's kind of planning out for the weekend for me to win it. But I've got 4 points behind Luke for the end of the championship. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I can win it.
Absolutely, we shall see. Well, you have to do the ball pick of joy. What number are you hoping for?
Number 1.
Number 1. I don't know if it is number 1. Okay, what number have you gone for? You've gone for the number 7. Well, that's what do you think about 7?
Not too sure. I don't really want to think about it, to be honest, because I know the nerves can get the better of you for the race. So I think I'm just going to play it as soon as it comes to it.
Well, thanks very much, Jordan. Well, join us after the break for the final reverse grid of the Mark 3s.
Welcome back to Croft in North Yorkshire for the final race of the Mark III Championship. Chris Lord, it is on pole position with Will Chappell. We've got the battle for the championship with Luke Herbert starting in 4th, Jordan Stilp starting in 7th, Chrissy Palmer way back on the back row of the grid after retiring race 2, and they head down towards the first turn, and it's going to be Chris Lord who's going to have the whole shot, although Luke Herbert's trying to make it 3 wide going in there. Surely that's not going to work. It does though. Luke Herbert takes the advantage. Will Chappell gets bundled off into the gravel, but braves it out round the outside. It hasn't worked out for him as Chris Lord tries to go through, and it's a spinner for Chris Platt. Ooh, he just gets away with it. Borum Cars, I think, has a slight stroke, but Chris Platt, after a really strong showing in the second race of the weekend, has looped it round, and a very scary moment for all of the competitors there. It means that Chris Lord is still second, or Will Chappell looks to the inside for that second position, and Luke Herbert is off and away with the fairies. Down towards Jim Clark S's for the first time. Left and then right. Luke Herbert has none of his championship protagonists anywhere near him. That's exactly what he wanted. A strong start. Jordan Stilp 4 points behind him in the championship, and therefore needs to get onto his tail, pass him, and have the fastest lap of the race. He'll get 3 points for having the most positions gained. He'll get 1 point for the fastest lap, and he'll get a full 100 for the victory. And that is exactly that's the only way he can do it. But Stilp has got it all wrong. Going into the complex, what's happened? He stopped, slowing down. Jordan Stilp, we're just picking you up. Go, put your foot down on the accelerator. Oh, nightmare for Jordan Stilp. It looks like he has snatched a gear, and the rear end sort of ducks, and he's off and running again. But for a moment, Stilp just motionless and just going completely backwards. Now we're looking at the battle between Paul Sheard, Adam Gore, and Chrissy Palmer trying to get through. Palmer goes up the inside but decides against it on Adam Gore. Remember, Palmer starting from the very back. He's going to have some serious work to do. He gets down the inside, but again, no room there. Now down towards Tower. Surely Palmer can get the slipstream into Tower Bend, but Adam Gore is thinking of trying to get past Paul Sheard as well. Here they go. Sheard is on the defensive line. Gore goes even tighter to the inside, no way through, and surely it's an opportunity for Chrissy Palmer to go all the way around the outside. Yes! Well, what was that? He put his arm out for some reason. Maybe it was a thank you, because Paul Sheard very much helped that move. They're still arguing further back between Sheard and Gore, who's finally managed to get through. But no way, if Paul Sheard was racing Chrissy Palmer and not his team manager, would Chrissy Palmer have pulled that move off, because he would have been buried in the grass, that's for sure. Here is the battle for second though. Still Lord and Chappell. Now Palmer's in 4th, then Gore 5th, and Paul Sheard in 6th position. But it's not going to be very long before the Chrissy Palmer gets past these two and sets his sights about chasing down Luke Herbert. Palmer looks to the inside, but there is no room there. Has to jump on the brake, and actually Adam Gore's going to slide down the inside on the exit, and a bit of rubbing his racing on the exit of the hairpin down over the start and finishing line. Chris Lord doing a great job of holding on to second position at the moment and compromising Will Chappell's sort of faint move there. Really not a proper overtaking manoeuvre. Tried to scare Lord into making a mistake. It just didn't work at all. Now Chappell is really under pressure from Chrissy Palmer, who holds a tighter line through Hawthorns. There's a big overlap, but they're going to go side by side through the chicane, and Will Chappell dives out of the way and decides against it, and that should allow Adam Gore to follow through as well. Will Chappell not covering himself in that much glory then in the half a lap. He's gone defensive on Paul Sheard, but that hasn't worked either. He's locked a rear brake. Sheard up the inside, and Chappell now falling back like a stone. Here is Jordan Stilp. Jordan Stilp then, from whatever happened, whether he turned the car off or suddenly couldn't find any gears, he's moving very, very fast now, and they go side by side, and a big old slide as well from Chris Platt, who looped the car around, of course, on that first lap. Will Chappell is the next target for Jordan Stilp, who is a man on a mission. Palmer trying to find a way past Lord, and every single corner that Lord holds up Palmer, it allows Jordan Stilp to get closer and closer. It also allows Luke Herbert to get further and further away at the front of the field, however. Lots of battling, and Stilp just can't find a way through at the moment on Will Chappell. Chrissy Palmer has managed to find a way through on Chris Lord. I just saw ahead. That would have been at the chicane, and a big old slide from Chappell and a big slide from Jordan Stilp as well. He's going to get some good drive, but he's on the wrong side of the circuit. And is that rain? Windscreen wipers on for Chris Lord. Maybe he just got a little bit scared and tapped them. It's very easy to do so, and indeed he turns them off as he goes into the first turn. Oh, contact by the back. Oh, that's a big hit. Big hit for Jordan Stilp into the wall. Will Chappell gets away with it, but didn't quite see how that transpired at first. But Will Chappell has taken off Jordan Stilp, and the championship now, I think, is done and dusted. Jordan jumps out the car. Looks like it's still running in gear as well. But Stilp is furious about that. I'm going to have to see a replay to make any sort of pointing of fingers. There is our leader, and he has no such worries whatsoever. Here it goes. Not really any room for Will Chappell to go through there, and I think Jordan Stilp maybe turned in a little bit too early. Either way, a racing incident between the two of them, and sadly Jordan Stilp coming off the worst. Don't think you can caution blame what was going on there. That was a big hit, and off goes David Chapman. Luckily doesn't hit the barriers, but a scary moment there, getting up onto two wheels, and it's all kicking off around Will Chappell, who seems to be causing all sorts of nuisance. Again, I don't think that was really his fault either. Can't really go around the outside there. We've seen some compliant racing further ahead with Chrissy Palmer going around the outside of people, but Palmer hasn't got the speed. And look at Adam Gore, who's just going to accelerate past Palmer into the lead of the race. That's not the lead of the race, of course. That's second position, but we've totally forgotten about Luke Herbert because he's so far up the road. No way through around Tower. Gore just can't find a way around the outside, but he's going to try and get a switch back. It hasn't worked for him. He's going to have to work a little bit harder to position his car better. 21 versus 19. Simon Fleet versus David Chapman. We haven't seen much of Simon Fleet. Again, all Paul Sheard autos, and a quick glimpse of an MX150. It's slowly building in the Mazda racing categories. Hopefully we'll see a few more of those kit cars out, causing a bit of a nuisance for the Mark 3s though. We've still got side by side. Oh, Adam Gore having a big old moment into the complex there, losing the rear end, and all of a sudden Chrissy Palmer has a little bit of breathing space now. But really, in terms of the championship, I think it's done and dusted. I hate to say it, but Luke Herbert has such a massive advantage. As we take a quick look at Paul Sheard, David Chapman making his way past the 77 car of Stuart Munch, who is a MX150. That's what they look like. It's a Mazda drivetrain, an engine in a space frame chassis. And we've seen the conversion between the Mark 1 car and the MX150 done in about 10 minutes. We did that at the Kit Car show. It's a great video showing exactly how to do it. Very easy, very cheap way to go racing the MX150s, and obviously quite a lot faster than the Mark 1 counterpart because they are so much lighter. Still battling further forward though in the Mark 3s. Will Chappell still got his hands full, this time with Chris Platt. Somehow Will Chappell's still going. He's been assaulted from all angles by various competitors and sent two of them in the boonies. Not necessarily his fault. But either way, sometimes a bit tricky when you come into races and you aren't a seasoned competitor. Drivers don't necessarily know how to deal with you. And maybe that's the problem with Will Chappell. Chrissy Palmer defending hugely from Adam Gore for second position. Right on the inside line, and Gore sensibly takes the racing line through the turn. Does he have more momentum though? Not quite enough to get alongside as the two Borum cars go side by side. Melvin Hodgson and Raymond Worley. Worley taking the advantage down the inside there. and a little bit pedestrian further back. Car, you can visibly see the car's not quite on the limit, but these boys enjoying their racing. Oh, where's he going? Oh dear, oh, that's going to be a big one. Just about keeps it out of the barriers and hitting anyone else, but Melvin Hodgson has lost out in that battle eventually. Still the battle raging on. Oh, what's going on here? Chrissy Palmer, oh, frustration. Whatever has happened to the car in race 2 of the weekend, it's happened at about the same part of the circuit at about the same time, and Chrissy Palmer is out of the race, and that leaves one man in the championship who is still going. He's not in part of the team, it's just him and his dad. Luke Herbert comes across the start-finishing line, not only to win here at Croft, but he has won the championship for SRC Recycling. For him, he's battled all the way through for many years being part of the Mazda Racing fold, and finally Herbert has taken the championship, taken the win over Adam Gore by 10 seconds. Chris Lord holding on for third. Brilliant result for the number 10 car. Then Paul Sheard and Chris Platt rounding out the top 5.
Chris, third place and your first podium this year.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with that. The first 2 races of the weekend, but again, they were my best positions all year, 2 7s, and then obviously that put me on the front of the grid, on the reverse grid for the last race. A lot of pressure there because you've got the championship guys virtually right behind. Luke got past before the first corner, that was fine. Thought I'd try and hang on as best as I could, but he got away quite quickly, and then I got ambushed twice on the same lap by Chris and also by Adam.
Adam, a very exciting race there. You were battling with Chrissy for the majority of the race.
Yeah, it was good. The start was okay, starting from the back, and obviously we had a bit of a spinner in the first chicane, and that caused a little bit of contact, but got through that. And then me and Chrissy pulled away, and yeah, battling with Chrissy then.
What a weekend. I mean, with the battle with me and Chris and me going off, and been in the office all weekend, and then me putting it in the wall, my own fault. Everything was going to pieces, and I didn't think Jordan was a contender coming into this weekend, but I mean, the pace that Jordan's had all weekend, and Adam, it's just put the pressure on teammates. So yeah, it's been really difficult, but I mean, to come out with that win, I had the advantage starting in 4th and them at the back of the grid. To get ahead and come with that win with such a big gap, it's just such a relief and such a way to end the year, and take the championship, which we, SRC's been working for, and who's sponsoring me and all the team, and Steve and my girlfriend and Dad all grabbing together at the end to try and help me with the win, and my mum. So yeah, such a good weekend, such a way to end. Really pleased.
Luke Herbert is your 2012 Mazda Mark3 Cup champion, and he wins that by just 11 points over Stilt. Palmer fading to third, Gore beating Sheard for that battle for 4th. Final words though to Miss Natalie Thompson.
Well, that's a wrap from the Mazda MX5 Mark3 Cup Championship, and what a championship it's been, with Luke, Chrissy and Jordan battling it out for that championship win right until the last lap of the last race of the last weekend. The Mazda Championship starts all over again in 2013, and we will see you then.